Culturally Clueless.
All right, guys, it's that time of the week, a brand new Culturally Clueless episode. So welcome, stay tuned, and salam alaikum. Okay, guys, we are back with a new episode. And how is everyone? The same question like every week. I stay consistent.
Stay consistent.
Yeah.
It has been a very busy weekend, so super tired on my part. How are you?
Alive.
Don't touch the question.
Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Literally,
No, I'm
leave
watching.
me alone.
I'm watching. Right, we're not going to progress to any topic until we finish the topic before.
Also,
Right.
to all the people in the
But yeah,
comments,
to answer
stop
your
coming
question
for
now,
me.
how
All these bullying in the comments.
Say the biggest bully of
there was
all.
no bullying there. There was no bullying anyway. Right.
There's bullying. Stop
You
ganging
just-
up on me. Okay? Before I turn straight on you. Okay. Oh, God. I don't know what's wrong with me. Okay, it's too hot here. All right. So how are you, Ray? How was your day?
You
Good,
didn't
my day
answer
just
how are
started.
you, Ness?
I said alive. I'm alive.
That's no.
Has to
that's
count
no-
for something.
In fairness, she said she's alive. Yeah.
Ha
Yeah,
ha.
but for me,
ha,
I
I'm-
don't think that that qualifies as an answer to the question.
No, I'm good. I'm good. Again, yeah, just like Ness, I'm alive, and I strongly think that I need a haircut because I'm looking at myself now and I'm like, oh, why do I look like that? Anyway, yeah, no, I'm good. Well, in fact, you know what? I'm gonna ask also the viewers that today there's something different here with me. All right, so let's see if they can pick it up. What is it?
Another going.
I don't know.
Game. Yes. Let's
Yeah,
see.
no, it's just a quick, it's just a quick riddle for
Yes.
the viewers, and let's see in the comments if they can pick it up or
Nice. That's a nice
Mhm.
game.
Yes. Now they're gonna but you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna put your picture on pause and they're gonna analyze you.
Yeah, aside from my messy hair, what else? I don't know, Maria, did you notice anything or Ness, did
Absolutely
you
no.
notice anything?
No. I don't
Perfect.
know.
Yeah, that's
I don't know those things. You can come with
Yeah,
an
that's-
elephant hat and I won't notice it. Sorry.
If you ask Maria, she'll say,
Yeah.
you're perfect. You look perfect. Everything's great.
Perfect. You look amazing.
That's okay. Well, I appreciate that. Even though I would know that it's not true, but yeah, I appreciate it.
Okay.
Perception is reality.
Mhm.
Okay, guys, to my beautiful Stacy in the comment, she's so loyal, she's always there. Your question was amazing. It's a very profound question that we're not gonna use because we don't wanna have.
Ria said no. It's
You also say no.
That's-
no, I can answer.
So
Yeah, look, I really appreciate
especially
the effort
because
that you
I don't
put, Maria, to
wanna lose any chance or heritage or be kicked out of the wheel.
Oh
By any
my
chance.
God. Okay, guys.
You pretty much gave the answer, apparently.
It's all about the
Yeah.
money. Exactly. She actually gave it all away.
So I just answer without answer, basically.
Mhm.
So yeah, so we're gonna try a different one, but try another question next week. Not that one, no. No one involves family members and choosing. So the question I have for you guys is that if you had the opportunity to go back in the past and change one thing, only one thing, what that will be? Next, you start.
When you have 232 things, how do you choose from that?
No, fast.
I should have eaten ice cream yesterday and I didn't.
That's so no a nice answer. Try again.
I don't know. I need to think about this. Ask Ray first, or answer you first.
Okay, I'm gonna answer first then, so you have time to think.
Mm-hmm.
So after everything that I have learned in the last almost 2 years, I wouldn't move to the United States.
You would.
I would.
You
I
would.
wouldn't. I wouldn't move here. No.
You would. 100%
I would
you
not.
would.
I would not. I would not move here.
May
I would
may
definitely
I
go to
ask?
a different.
Okay, that yeah.
Yeah, may I ask which where would you move in this case? Like if it's not the United States?
No Australia. I know that. No
Oh
Germany.
my God, I was waiting.
Nobody
Okay.
wants you. Nobody wants you to move there or to Germany. Where would you move?
I don't know. I had to think. Why would I move? I guess Palestine right now. That's the first thing that comes to my
Oh,
head.
crazy.
But definitely not the United States, because when I came here, I had this place put in a pedestal, and it felt so bad, and I feel so guilty to live here, knowing everything that this country has done to so many others. So yes, I would change that. I wouldn't move here. I wouldn't have my child here.
Okay.
Right. Well, yeah, you know what?
Mm.
Sometimes I feel differently, right? Yeah, of course I didn't start my answer yet, but like, to just to respond or to comment what Maria said, right? I feel that it's, I look at it in a different way, right? Because somehow I feel like, people like us who are different from, who came from a different place and came to those Western countries, right? And we came with some different values and different mindset. It is us, it is the immigrants who are actually driving the change and would be actually putting those countries and their values back into, like, let's say, improve them, right? This is how I see it, because if like everyone of the same mindset and they are, let's say everyone in the US, the same mindset, the same, they're just going with the system as it is, right? And there are no immigrants who are actually seeing, or maybe actually suffering themselves, which is similar to what's happening now with the ICE and everything else, right? So there wouldn't be a change, right? This is how I see it. Since the Martin Luther King, for example, right? If there wasn't really an actual movement, and there wasn't actually the African Americans there, and there wasn't really the slavery and all of this, there wouldn't have been a change, and the mindset would be the same, and that would be dangerous actually. That that country would be just full of people of the same mindset. I don't know if I made it clear.
Yes.
But yeah, at some point I feel like, yeah, well, you know what? Good that that you moved to the US. It's good that I moved to Australia, because it's of course it's not only me, but it's like you and me and like the rest of the like every other person who came here with their values and are trying to change things. Yeah,
That's a nice
if
twist.
you guys agree or disagree or something, but yeah.
That's a nice twist. And yes, the African Americans, they're definitely responsible for a lot, like not just MLK, there's also Malcolm X, my personal hero.
But
Oh,
African
absolutely. Yeah,
Americans,
I just didn't mean just
African
one.
Americans didn't meet immigrant here. They were forced here by slavery.
Yeah. But what he's
It's a
saying
different
is,
reality.
yeah, but what he's saying is they made
It's
the
okay.
change. They are the one who stood
Because-
up and fought. Like, I mean,
Because the oppression or their people that were brought here. It's a different situation.
Bro,
Okay,
that's not the point.
now Ray, what is the answer to your question? To the question.
Oh my
What would
God,
you
I thought I
change?
dodged it.
No, I know what you were doing. I know what you were doing.
Oh God. Well, the problem for me is that if I'm going to give an honest answer, I'm gonna get some people upset, and I don't know if these people are gonna be seeing or at some point somebody's gonna watch. So, but yeah, just like Liz said, we have like 232 things. We can pick one of them. Look, I would say I would have at least changed let's put it in this way. I would have changed the field of study and the field of work that I'm having, right? Because and the reason is, we have this thing in our culture that the status thing, right? So that someone will have a title, doctor someone, engineer someone,
Yes.
professor someone, right? And that would actually, especially when we are at some age, at some point in our life, right? There's this would pretty much govern the way that people would look at us, and maybe like if someone is going to get married, or someone is even if you are moving to another house, right? The people would be like, who's that person and what is his position in life, right? So, the way that we chose the field of study, it is something that, yes, I like it, right? But the other thing is that, yeah, that's a status as well. That's going to give me a status. But like when I went through, a career, I was like, oh my God, what sort of headache that I put myself into? And I got stuck within. Right. So yes, I would change the field of study, but don't ask me. Like you can put it in different episode. Don't ask me what would you would have studied.
You asked me about country you want me to move.
No, don't ask me.
Okay, she got you there, I guess. I have to give her that point. Yeah, I have to give her that point. Sorry.
That is okay. I can live without that answer. Next, your turn.
Wow. What's happening? Okay. Oh, wow. All right. So, no, I want to ask actually something first. Do you care? Do you guys actually care about cultural status after like you I feel at some point
You cannot ask another question over my question. You have to ask my question and then we
Yeah,
answer.
she's trying to slip away from the answer.
Okay,
Look,
my answer is very
simple. You can ask
simple.
us the question if you want, but you have to answer first.
Okay.
Yes.
No, we leave that for another
High five,
episode.
Maria.
You are right, because we have to move on. So no, that's not fair. Leave me alone. So, I will say this. I will say I should have never allowed Western values in certain situations or Western custom to influence me as much as it has.
Like, for example?
You know what I'm really thinking, Maria, now? You know that four-letter word and then you add the U after?
What?
Continue. Okay. So yeah, now let's
elaborate.
There's some certain level of
that's very Western. That's very
fudge.
Western of you, Ness, actually.
Exactly, very Western of me. Fudge.
Okay.
So yeah, that one. So yeah, that's my regret. So
but you
say,
didn't give me an example. I don't understand the answer. What
certain,
So,
because I don't want to. As Ray said, you upset a lot of people if you start really speaking certain things, right? And I really don't want to do this because I'm not here. Like no time for the drama. And it's just like lifestyle wise, how you live your life and certain things that you feel like important, because I don't know like how it is with you, Maria, for example, but I think Ray can agree with me. We have two different personalities. We have our cultural and our Muslim personality at home, and then we have our personality outside our home in the world, like in the workplace or when you interact with other people who are not from the culture.
That sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, well,
it is.
Yes. Yeah. It is, and sometimes you don't want to pretty much fall for for how to say it, like mixing them, like allow one of them to go and overlap on the other, right? or yeah, enter the other, like intrude. What do you call it? Oh, I lost the word. To encroach into the other, right?
Well,
Especially the one that is, outside, right? The personality, or the it's not the personality, but some of the let's say the actions, or some of the boundaries or something, to let them into your actual personal life, right? Because it is deceiving sometimes. That's all I can say. It is deceiving that, like you can see, it's
I mean,
creep slowly in your life, right? Without feeling.
we don't have, like, in the Western world doesn't have as much discipline as we have. So we are very much influenced by TV, by media, when it comes to certain things, when it comes to fashion, when it comes to everything. And sometimes you can get lost and forget your real values, especially when you live in such a world where it's almost like weird if you don't do so. And I think, like, most of us foreigners are a victim of it, especially when you come to the Western world young, and you feel like you don't fit in because they make you like you don't fit in. So you don't talk. Like, I never at school told people I pray or something like that, because it was weird. Like, my Muslim friends know I pray, but the other people didn't. And now I feel like I should have never allowed this type of, like, thing, where you have to become somebody else almost.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
I'm sorry that you
Okay.
had to go through that. That sounds like a double life, basically.
It is. It really is, actually. It really, really is, because your parents have expectations, cultural and religious expectations. You want to follow your religious expectations that God has, but at the same time, you want to fit in within the world that you are put in, whether it's your school or whatever. So, yeah. But now these days,
Yeah,
it's
I think
not like that
on that,
anymore.
yeah, I think, yeah, exactly. The earlier days, I think it was a bit more challenging,
Yeah.
right? Because, for me and for my kids, I don't think we had been through this, right?
Mm-mm.
We would say it, we like at school or at work, right? We'd say it, and oh, I don't have a problem with it. But sometimes, like, the thing, when I said something, when I said that, yes, yeah, you need somehow to adjust. It means, like, for example, and I'm not really opening it for discussion here because it's going to take a long time, I know. But for example, when you go for, let's say, at the workplace, we have something called the Christmas party or the end of year
Yeah.
party, right? So, well, the whole company would go.
Yeah.
Right. So we'd go to a place, where there's food and there's drinks as well, right? So for us as Muslims, we shouldn't really be even in a place where the drink is served.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But in this case, what do I choose? And in fact, I remember my first year in Australia, I said, sorry guys, I cannot go. Okay. But, like, and the year after, I said it, but they were like, what is wrong? Okay. Because what they have done at that time is that, they chose a restaurant or a place where they serve halal food, but they still,
Yeah.
even though it's halal food, but it still serves drinks.
Yeah.
So they already made an adjustment for me, right? So what am I going to say? So at the end, eventually, I had to adjust and I
Yeah.
had to go there, right? And I had to be there where the drink is served, right? And, well, I'm not drinking. This is let's say this is the halal exit that I had to take, that I'm not drinking, right? But I still had to adjust because, they did enough. They chose a place where they have halal food, right? Because that place obviously wants to have all types of customers, right? But they're still
Yeah.
serving drinks, and everyone was drinking around me,
Yeah.
except me.
Yeah.
So this is the sort of adjustment that I'm talking about. It's not about, like, I'm praying and stuff like that, because it's different days, it's different time now
No,
in our
totally.
life, and people are exposed, and exposed to these things, and they know they have ideas.
Oh, yeah.
They know that there are different things. Yeah. So yeah, that's the thing that I need to add.
Okay. Wait.
Interesting, very interesting.
Yeah, it's actually a very interesting topic, and this should be I think this topic is very important to raise because I feel like especially the younger generation, they don't know how lucky they are because of the internet and how much it's really now out there, like all these things. Like seriously, like when I was going to school, it wasn't fun. Like we are even, and this still happens though, by the way, today. Like even when Ramadan, they would say, you don't eat, you don't drink, like very condescending, right? And now intermittent fasting is such a huge thing.
Mhm.
So it's just like it's crazy. Like it's unhealthy. How can you? And now everybody, oh, intermittent fasting. Oh, I need to lose weight. Oh, I'm doing something for my
That
health.
is
Oh,
the
mindset. Oh, like
that is the
seriously.
culture
Yeah,
the
when it's
cultural appropriation. It's good when they do it now
Yeah.
because it's
yeah.
fitness.
But at this point, I'm
Yeah,
not.
but this is the thing. It's like if it's a fashion or a trend, right? It's acceptable. But if it's something that has some religious or cultural background, it would be like, yeah, okay, what the hell, what's that? Like, well, how silly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and another point is like like it's just we as kids were never prepared. We never prepare. Like our parents, like nobody, like all my friends, like nobody talked to us, not our parents, because they didn't know. They came here and they were working hard or they were trying to adapt and adjust themselves, right? They didn't know, especially like coming from our culture, they didn't know how to have this conversation with us, to prepare us for the racism and the discrimination that would be thrown at us daily, whether it's the teachers, whether it's you go somewhere, or like for example, like also in America, like 9/11 was very horrible. Like when mothers with hijab would pick up their children, they literally would be physically abused, even by the kids. They would be pushed and everything. There's so many people who could tell you stories, and all of this as the result of like the propaganda and everything that's been spewed ever since and even prior.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So
we have friends on TikTok that grow up after 9/11 and they have terrible experience in
yeah,
the school district. Well,
absolutely.
thank you.
But
Thank you
yeah,
for sharing that. That was and that's interesting. Well, not interesting. I'm sorry that you went through that. It shouldn't be that
so it's
way.
not just me, it's a million other people,
Mhm.
millions of people. But did you answer? Did she answer, Ray? Why was I gonna call you Chris?
Yeah, Chris.
No, yeah.
So
The
Whoever
three,
that
the
I
is.
two of
think
you
I mean,
answers perfect. So we can
No, no, no.
start
What's your
our.
answer?
What do you mean?
she answered about not coming
I did
to
answer.
the US,
America.
right?
Oh
And we
my
discussed
gosh.
it, and I
Okay,
You
tried
okay,
and
are
I
okay.
not
tried to dodge.
listening. You are not
I tried to dodge
listening.
the answer. I tried to dodge the answer myself by commenting on her answer.
Stop stealing
But
my
again,
tricks.
she.
What is this?
You are not listening to the podcast.
I am, but I get like really like I get passionate about this subject. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to our next point and let's make it a quick one. So we have some updates. We talked about digital sovereignty last week. Was it last week about Denmark or was it the week
Yes.
before? I don't even remember. Okay,
Last week.
so and then now we have China. China, they're very rebellious, especially when it comes like to America and everything. And Huawei, I can never say the name, was a company that was sanctioned, especially by Trump in his first term. And actually, they make great devices, and he sanctioned them because obviously it's China. And now they have their own computer without Android, without Windows, without anything American.
China launches its first laptop without any US code, and the world is already trembling. China just did the unthinkable, and the world is watching with shaking hands. Huawei launched its first ever laptop running on zero US code. No Windows, no Android, no Silicon Valley strings attached. Powered entirely by Harmony OS and a chip built in-house, this machine isn't just a product, it's a declaration.
So everybody's moving away. They call it a technological sovereignty.
Technological sovereignty.
Yes. Trust me again with these words. Okay. What do you guys feel about this?
I think it's great. Huawei has my dream phone. Did you ever see the last phone that they launched? It's amazing and it's banned in this freaking country.
The only reason
I
why I don't
think,
have Huawei is because they don't have YouTube.
bro, who cares? Have you see that phone? It's a dream phone. And it's not a Sayo company. It's amazing. They're a great company. So all for it. W China for this.
Is it just Is it just me, or Maria was cutting off a little bit?
No, I interrupted her.
I couldn't hear.
Don't
Well-
bring up these things. It's the sneeze all over again.
You know, when you talk about these things and the high techs and everything, right?
Mm.
Now, I don't know about, you know, in the US, or of course not in the US, maybe in Europe, right? The Chinese automotive industry,
Mm.
right? I don't know how popular they are in the US, but here in Australia, because of the proximity, the close proximity to China, like everything is coming pretty much from
Yes.
China. You know, except for the water and milk and stuff. And even on these ones, they would always write on the packages like, you know, made with Australian milk, or made with like pure Australian spring water. Like, seriously?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, true story, right? So, but the thing is, you know, like there are brands here, like multiple brands of cars, Chinese brands, okay? And at the beginning, you know, when we were looking at them, I was thinking that, yeah, that's not going to last long. But I saw a friend of mine, he bought a Chinese car, right? And the price is ridiculous, honestly. You know, it's very competitive and it's ridiculous, but because it's like it's cheap. It is cheap, right? And so, and it's not only like they are manufacturing, or they're bringing, you know, they're doing just one category, which is like, let's say just a sedan car, or because that's how it started. It was like a sedan or just those small hatchback, right? But now it's like even the big trucks, they are doing the big trucks, which means here, you know, the SUVs and the four-wheel drive cars, right? But I walked into that car, my friend's car, right? And I saw the technology, the level of technology and the level of luxury that is in that car compared to the price that he bought that car for. Okay, you can never get not a US or like a Japanese car or a Korean car. You can never get the same specs, right, and the same high spec for that price.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so and people are moving towards, like,
Yes.
you can walk in the streets. People are moving towards those cars because, you know, you've got everything. You've got all the luxury that you would see and you would dream of in a car, right? For that cheap price,
Yes.
you know, and it's fancy. I promise you, it is fancy, you know. The only thing for me that would stop me from maybe, I don't know, moving ahead and buying one of those cars is maybe the durability, because, you know, again, Chinese product or something. It is, I think now at this point, it is put to the test by all of these people who bought those cars, and they would see, you know, like maybe you can tell within a year or two, just to know if those cars are just, you know, fancy, cheap technology, okay, which is something that, you know, it is good to watch, or it's good to see or have, but, you know, you cannot really use it a long time. It's not really heavy duty. So what I'm trying to say here is that, you know, they are moving very fast and they are so competitive in their prices, and they are so high tech. You will never get a US or a Western made product, or even a Japanese or Korean product, right? With the amount of high technology and for that price. So, well, honestly, you know, they're doing a great job. I'm so impressed.
Yeah, I think the quality will be improving, because I think everybody is moving towards that, and they're not dumb. It's either they're gonna have like a good quality, and it's gonna elevate because they want people to move over to them rather than American or German or whatever brands. So they're gonna have to give people the quality. Yeah.
You know, do you have, I don't know, I'm not really gonna spend too much time, but I have a bit of a story about, you know, a situation, or a, you know, so basically, when I was still, you know, before coming to Australia, okay, I was working in that company, and you know, I was in a conference and I met a Chinese person. He represents a company who does multiple mechanical equipment, let's call it this way, right, including, you know, those what do you call it? The car parks, but they are like lifts, you know. Well, I forgot what they're called. The automated car parks, right? So, and because of the nature of our business, so he wanted to visit me in our company and explain about their business. So I thought that they just do the robotics car park, okay? But when he came and showed me the other products that they do, like generators and so many other high tech products, and I was like, I told him, look, I understand, but honestly speaking, when we say China, something that is made in China, right? Then you know the durability thing, right? So why do you think that we can have a collaboration if our clients, or especially in that country, the clients would always ask for something that is Western made, or at least South Korean, right? This is the minimum requirement, right? So he said, and he started showing me what they do to those big names, the equipment that they manufacture for those big names. And he simply said, you pay for a cheap product, you get a cheap quality, but you pay for a high-tech product, you can see that we are manufacturing for those big names, for those big brands, right? So we do both. It depends on how much you're willing to pay, right?
Yeah.
So yes, they do have the technology, and they do have and in fact, look, everything is outsourced there. Our phones are like Western named phones; they are outsourced there. So all you have to do is just find the maybe you just be a little bit, let's say improve your budget a little bit, like put your budget on a higher limit a little bit, and you would get a very good product, right?
Absolutely. Okay. And we have another update. We have ICE. They've been at it again. There's a woman.
It's a very sad story. Yeah.
Go ahead.
So ICE detain a woman and put her in these cages when they sleep basically with covered only with aluminum foil. Sorry. And this woman was given nothing to drink, nothing to eat, and this woman was pregnant. This woman talked to the guards to please help her, and no one helped her. They negligent the help, and this caused for her to lose her baby and on ICE custody.
Yes, and her name is Iris Diana Montorosa Limas. And it's important. The reason why I like to give people's names, I know that nobody remembers, but maybe if you hear the name somewhere else and you like you have like this little remembrance, I think these people are worth to know and worth knowing because they really went through it. And I just want to say one thing. So the things that they give these people to eat, for example, in our case, is spaghetti with cockroaches. Yummy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, yummy. So she lost the child, and she was not only not even helped by the guards, she was bullied by them and mocked by them. Yeah. So
I'm trying to understand what sort of mentality do these people have when they do this, right?
They're
like,
doing
honestly,
the
it's like
same. They're doing exactly the same. It's the same behavior the ITF has in the West Bank with Palestinians. They're treating like they are not human.
I don't want to upset anyone, but I feel like there's nothing as bad as in the West Bank, because these people, they get beaten in America, yes. They get taken, yes. And they get treated poorly and badly, 100 million%. But the difference in the West Bank is very subtle. They don't bulldoze people's homes in America yet. They don't come and take over your house and physically assault and abuse your wife and children and even yourself yet. So
the key word is yet, and it has happened that they break into your room and kill you for no reason and with no consequences.
Yeah,
And the reason why I'm comparing, I'm not saying that it's the same, is anyone in America is listening to this, you need to open your eyes, because right now they're doing it to immigrants, but when they finish with us, they're gonna come for you. And the reality is insane. Again, I'm not comparing, and I will never compare Palestine situation with anywhere or any other struggle. But that's what it's getting there. Like we're getting adopted from the street by strangers, and people need to realize that it's getting worse. And now today is us, but tomorrow could be you.
Yep. Ray, you wanted to say something, and I rudely interrupted you, I think.
I don't know. I don't remember. But so yeah. Well, look. All I was saying is that again, what is on these people's minds? And I understand when Maria said about the West Bank, right? But again, for me so far, look. I know that both the let's say the quote unquote Israel or the U.S. government, they are both colonizers at the end of the day, right? But yeah, what is happening in the West Bank? Of course, it is like you said, Liz. It's on a higher level because of course the that so-called government, they think that they can get away, and they are doing it because they can, and because they think that they own the land and they can do whatever they want with the people on that land, right? On the other side, on the other hand, the U.S. This is the history of I think how USA started when they colonized the land and they thought that they can also own the people, the indigenous people. But now, all right, they progressed into the point where they call for at least human rights and everything else. But now it seems like it's going downhill when it comes to human rights. And again, it's just because what? Because they are illegal immigrants. Because what? Or because they are not of the same group or category or skin color or whatever it is.
Exactly
Yes.
right. It's not only illegals, it's everybody that looks different. We have seen citizens sent to El Salvador just because they look certain way with no records. So it's just they're not targeting your documents, they're targeting the way you look, the way you sound.
Yeah, that's the scary part. Yeah, that's the scary part, right?
Yeah, I had to
So maybe
drive around with my passport and my purse in case something happened to me.
that's this is the thing that anyone would like. This is the worst nightmare, right? Like, okay, maybe you don't look different, but maybe your accent is different, so I have to worry.
Okay.
Like, is that how? Where are we getting into? Right? What are we getting into?
My question is, you guys don't walk around with your IDs?
Before Trump,
Uh,
I had my driver license, but I didn't need my passport. Now I feel like I need my passport, American passport, just in case, so I don't care. I don't know. I don't know if that's gonna save me, but at least
Yeah, you
before
have it.
Trump, I did. Before Trump, only driver license. After
You?
Trump, I do carry my passport.
Ray?
no, for me, it's just the driver's license. I do have a picture of my passport on my phone. Basically, it's just because sometimes you're filling a form or something, and you need to put the passport number or something. That's all. But it's not for identification purposes, but just driver's license.
So
And
you
that's even
but it's not passport, it's ID.
that's even yeah. The ID. I have only the driver's license, and even by the way, even before I became an Australian citizen, which is so far Australia. That's why Australia is good. Let's call it this way. Even before became an Australian citizen, I only had the driver's license on me, and no questions asked about whether it's like the permanent resident or legal resident or like because the driver's license would tell the whole thing like you legally live here and no one would ask. In fact, it's not even allowed. It's like an offense, especially on if you apply for a job, it's an offense that you would put even your nationality there, right? The only question that we ask: do you have the legal rights to work and live in this country without any limitations? Because sometimes you have some limitations in terms of like some areas based on the visa category. It's like a long story, right?
Yeah.
But that's all you need to do. The driver's license itself, it would tell that, hey, look, you are legally a resident here. The driver's license itself, right? Because you wouldn't really get a driver's license if you didn't fulfill some other requirements when you apply for it. So I just hold that one. And there's the people who don't have a driver's license or something. or they are not really citizens yet, they can also, they can get themselves an ID card, and it doesn't tell their nationality or anything. You just get an ID card. It's called like a proof of age card. So basically, it will just show the age, or photo ID. That's what I call it, photo ID. That's more than enough. You can use it in the airport when you travel interstate. So far, I'm saying that's why it's, I'm not really so concerned here. So far, this is how it is here. I don't have to worry about carrying my passport or anything.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the next one is unfortunately a case that is happening way too often in the US. And we want to talk about this man called Mario Kaiser Jr. I think he was 30 or 31. He was found in North Carolina hanging from a tree.
What they saying, the detective saying that he walked out of his apartment and walked into the woods, 50 feet into the woods, and hung himself. I said, ain't no way. Why would he hang himself? And if he would have did it in his apartment, And then I told him, I said, well, black people don't hang themselves. What I said that for? He got pissed because I said that. And he talking about,
And they're claiming that this is, again, self-harm. And they say that he used a chair to basically get up there and hang himself. Friends and family members are saying, especially his mom, that this is absolute cap. They're saying he was 307 pounds heavy, so he couldn't even get on a chair easily and just hang himself. This man was apparently quite self-sufficient and successful. He had his own trucking company and he was a truck driver. And once again, like always, the police failed to do their job. And this is footage says that he left his apartment, for example, at 10:30 p.m. and he never returned home. His girlfriend says that she FaceTimed with him an hour later at 11:30 p.m. when he was at his apartment. So, yeah. One of those
It's
cases.
a disgrace. It's a disgrace. It's 2025 and we're still seeing this because that's always obviously was a murder. I don't need to be a police officer or detective to know that. Why would he do that in the forest? Is that what's the intention? Why in the forest? Why not in the rooms?
Exactly.
And it's like you said, that is one of many cases. A lot of Black people are making videos and saying clear and loud, I will never kill myself, just for everybody to know. I will never do that because it's happening across the country. It's not in a specific state, but we have seen people hanging in public places.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there are so many, of course, there are so many question marks on this. And yeah, like Maria said, why does he have to take all that trip to the forest and hang himself there? But, well, the other question would be how much the authorities care about this, or would care, or would put attention or effort into this?
Well, you know what?
Easiest thing to do, he ended his own life. What can we do?
They don't even talk about it in the media. And let me tell you something. They have these hanging trees where people used to be hung from and basically lynched. And back in the day, during slavery, not even too long ago, not a little bit over 100 years ago. And what is the most disturbing part about it, I find, is they do not want to remove these hanging trees because they're saying this is part of America's history. Yes, I understand. They should never forget what America did and is still doing, but you don't want to remove these trees because you might have a different message, maybe. Just
you see why I shouldn't be living. It's awful. It's awful.
You're right. You shouldn't. Such a shame. Such a shame.
Okay. To be honest, and especially with this case, it's a shame. He was such a outstanding young man, super young too. and this happened to his family, to him, is outrageous. No. I hope that he rests in peace.
And since we're at it, with all of the supremacy and privilege, let's talk about a woman that is definitely feeling too privileged, too much. This is a very crazy case, one of many, once again, a shameful case of bullying and discrimination.
Yeah. When I found this video, I checked twice to make sure there was no AI. No, 3 times. It's at least it has to be AI. This cannot be this crazy. But it
what
wasn't.
happened?
So apparently this woman was assigned a seat next to someone that was overweight. And she lost it.
I got all of it. Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't want to sit next to a fat lady. It's horrible. Look at her outfit. Look at this fat.
32-year-old Leanna Perry sparked chaos on a Southwest Airlines flight after refusing to sit next to a fat lady.
Look at this. Look at this. $250?
I would never.
There's like, I'm like not this girl.
The NYC artist, who has worked with high-end companies and lives in a high-rise apartment.
He didn't want to sit next to this woman because she was heavy. She is heavy, sorry. She's heavy. And then when she said, like, no, we cannot assign another seat, she started attacking this woman, attacking with punches and pulling the hair. I lost her mind. The police ended up handcuff her and take her out of the plane. Everybody was so, like, all the passengers were like, what is happening here? Like, everybody was so stunned. So, yeah, white privilege for you. Oh, I don't know what kind of privilege this is.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, is it an actual white privilege? Like, let's ask the other question here. What is the
well, the other person was
the,
white too, so I guess it's not white. No point.
Exactly, that was my question. Like, was she a white lady as well?
Okay.
So
Classism.
Classism, is it? What is the? Yeah, we need to see what is the background, or let's.
She's an artist.
No. What?
She works with rich people, right?
Oh.
So, okay, so she's an artist, she works with rich people, she has basically a particular lifestyle, and she's around particular people. And by that, I don't mean that there's no fat rich people. Clearly they are. But what I'm trying to say here is she was attacking her for her looks, she was attacking her for how she's dressed, she was attacking everything about this woman. So yes, it is a way of privileged and white supremacy. Both were white. I mean, we don't know their nationalities, but I just want to say that I'm not saying that a foreign person couldn't behave this awkward and disgusting. That's not what I'm saying, but it was, if you see the way that she speaks and everything, it's definitely privilege. So
yeah, it's a gross video. Very gross.
Yeah, I think we saw some other incidents and some other videos. I think a couple of weeks ago, also about this lady in the shop, in the supermarket, when someone of a different color was trying to help her when her son fell off the trolley, and she was accusing him of like abducting the child. I don't know if you guys have seen this.
I saw that video. Yeah, she was attacking a child, wasn't she?
Well, she was actually, so what happened is, like, the guy was looking for something on the shelves, and she was actually pushing, not pushing a trolley. I think she was actually using
she's in a wheelchair.
Oh, yeah.
She's in a wheelchair.
Yeah, the wheelchair. Yeah, exactly. And they had like a quick chat about, like, he was looking for something, which aisle is it? And she told him, and all of a sudden, like, one of the children was about to fall or fell off that trolley, and he just put the child back. But apparently the lady ended up telling he was helping her basically, but the lady was telling she was actually reporting him, like he was trying to abduct her child. And in fact, there's this footage about, like, the child was falling again, or another child, because she had like 2 children, and the child was falling again, but there was a white guy who helped, but she just thanked that white guy and just left, while the other guy was I think from like an Indian
Yeah.
origin or something. So
Mhm.
you know, different skin color. So yeah, she reported, or she tried to report you know, an abduction attempt, just because that guy is looking different. But the footage was showing clearly that the guy was just helping.
Yes.
Hmm.
That was pure racism. This one is discrimination. Like I don't know whatever this woman was, but that was not like not even her concern. Her concern was that woman was overweight and she thought it was disgusting. And I just, you know, like I don't know if and this is what I don't understand. This woman, she was taken away. I don't know whatever the consequences is. We're gonna like have to follow up on this story because I'm really curious, right? What is gonna happen with this woman? Because she's gonna go back to her life and she's gonna continue working her art, whatever that is that she's doing for rich people, and she's gonna probably do it again.
Most
Yep.
likely, yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
While we're at discussing people treating people badly, let's talk about what happened in Russia with a guy from Belarus called Vladimir Vikov. And he did something that is so crazy. And literally everyone who saw this video either cried or was so in shock. You
I
guys
cried
saw
for
the
2
video.
hours, but out of anger, because I couldn't believe that someone could treat a child that way. 18 months. The baby was 18, isn't 18 months. And we see in this video, it's very graphic. So advice for everybody that is very sensitive with child abuse. This video is very, very graphic because you can see so the baby is next to the suitcase waiting for her mom. Her mom is just a few steps away. And this man goes behind the baby, very sneakily looking around, very suspicious, and grab the baby and body slam him to the floor, head first. The baby have a skull fracture, and right now he's in coma. There, he was, I think he was coming from Israel, so everybody is assuming that he's a Zionist. And the baby is from Iran.
Yeah, that was yeah, I've seen this one. It was disgusting, especially that, you know, like I think that you know, somebody was saying that he was intoxicated or something, or some reports are saying this, but like, you know, the way that he's looking around before he grabbed the baby, it tells the whole thing, right? It tells the whole story that no, I don't think he was intoxicated. You can see the body language. You can see that the guy is
It
like
happens.
fully aware. When the people you know, came in to take the baby and help, he was actually taking pretty much a stance of defense or fight, right? So the guy is fully aware. Like, no, he was not intoxicated or under any influence. No. Sorry, Maria, you
Intoxicated
were
with
trying to say
hate,
something.
maybe. No, in case everybody asks, like, what is the mom? Everything happened in a matter of seconds. Seconds.
Yeah,
And
yeah. When if anyone, like, if you are able to see the video, you can see that, you know, the guy was just passing by. Like, you would never tell that or think that this person would really is up to something, right? Just looked around and in the millisecond, you know, grabbed the boy from his legs and like slammed him like a ragdoll. So yeah, that's there was no time for anyone to see or act
What kind
or
of a
to
world?
understand, even to yeah, honestly. Mm.
Like you are at an airport and you cannot even like not pay attention for a few seconds to your baby. Like we're human and we have to do certain things, even if it's just like take something out of the bag for the baby or, you know, deal with paperwork or something like so what, so we cannot like go to the airport in peace anymore.
Exactly. Like parents would be so busy, you know, like we always get busy, you know, in the airport, especially again, you know, for any reason,
Yeah.
right? But now, like, we should worry that, yeah, I cannot really get busy unless, or maybe I can get busy, but like if I'm gonna I don't know, take something out of my luggage or something, I have to make sure that my child is right in front of me where I can see him, her.
But
I don't
even
understand. Or maybe my child should be like hanging on my back or something. I don't, honestly, what else to do?
even then, like you have only two hands. Like you're just literally doing something. You don't expect these things. Like what kind of a mindset are we walking around with? Like how are we walking around like we could be attacked at any minute, like or any second? It's insane. Literally insane.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely, yeah. You know, when I drop my child off to school, like I drop him off to school, he steps out of the car and he walks. You know, so it's just
Yeah.
like a couple of meters, and he's actually at the school,
Yeah.
right? But I just keep my eye, like follow him with my
Yeah.
eyes until he just walks in and disappears. And I make sure that when I drop him at a spot where I can see him on the furthest point, like until he would really go and like inside, and I can't see him anymore. It's not like just, you know, at some corner. No, you just keep looking and watch until he's in, right? So we're trying to do our best and trying to you know, to basically keep things in control.
Yeah.
But it's still, yeah, who knows what's, you know, how things are, how danger is coming.
Insane, literally.
Hopefully, next week we can update with good news from the baby, and I hope that this man is on death row or something. And I hope that in prison they do exactly the same that he did to the baby.
Oh yes. Yes, 100%. Yes, and our next topic is a little bit comedic, to be honest, to me anyway. So this is exactly a week ago when Trump was speaking to the media, and he did say that he wasn't happy with Israel.
Yeah, I do. They violated it, but Israel violated it too. Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I've never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going.
I find it so funny that people find it as a point of change when he literally said he wasn't happy with them throwing everything they have or dropping everything they have within the first hour.
So what they have been doing all these 20 months? like, this is normal behavior for these cycles. Throw everything at once and unarmed civilians. And fool me once, shame on you. But fool me twice, shame on me. I'm not gonna fall for that. Oh, I'm upset with Israel. Bullshit. He already said that in the beginning
No,
of the year.
maybe he was, you know, like when I saw the video, I felt like, okay, first of all, he was like, it's just that his ego was hurt. That's number one. Because yeah, I told them not to do this, and you know, yeah, they still did it.
Again. Again.
Yeah, it felt like, yeah, it felt like, you know, a teacher told his student like, oh nah, okay, this is last time, and like, and as soon as he turned his back, like, oh, there you go, a couple of things. I know it's not funny, but like this is how my imagination works. And the other thing is, maybe he was upset, would be like, oh, okay, like, what is the value of these couple of bombs that you dropped now, right? So I told you to stop, and now you just, you know, spend some. I know that they're already spending billions of the US money and US tax dollars, but like, you know, I felt like he felt like, oh, come on, guys, right? You know, like we are already paying you, and like you're just wasting the money like this. I told you to stop. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, you wasted
you know,
20 million. Let me send you 40 more billions.
Yeah, but like, this is the last time, all right? But you have to listen to me when I say stop.
Yeah. Again.
No, but this is a good point. It was actually his ego. It was actually his ego speaking. Actually, this is I agree with you.
Look, the video says it all, right? He's walking and he's like giving like this 2 seconds speech and like pretty much swearing at that behavior, right? And like, yeah, it felt to me, it really felt like, yeah, I told you not to do it, and you did it, right? Like, just go stand in the corner. I'm upset with you now. You know?
No. The only thing that I like about this video is when they don't know what they're doing.
Well, he doesn't know what
Oh my
he's
God.
doing, because another funny news about him this week was also like he's pretty upset with the Israeli prosecution, and he's saying that it is actually absolutely wrong and appalling to, for the prosecution to ask of Netanyahu, such a busy man who has so much stress and so much going on at the moment, to ask him to appear at court, because he is still, he's still going through his own court cases, the accusation of fraud and scamming and all, like, whatever else he done, and he has been doing with his wife, Miss Piggy, over the past years.
Miss Piggy.
She looks like Miss Piggy. I'm sorry. Does she look like Miss Piggy?
Poor Miss Piggy.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like, so he's very upset with the Israeli prosecution. He feels like this is very wrong of them.
He called Netanyahu a war hero, bro.
It's okay. Like, we all know, or maybe we don't all know, but Donald Trump serves a purpose. Like, he was not elected, he was appointed, and he's there for a reason. And I wish people would actually look into the real reason why Donald Trump is needed, and it's exactly needed what he's doing, like, to be done. So, yep. Well, what more is there to be said? Anything?
No. It's especially on that small speech as well. It felt like, maybe he meant something else. Like, oh, come on, like, within this hour or two, you dropped all of this. You could have dropped them on the people in Gaza. Why did you have to send it that far?
Yeah, now they have to send again for people in Gaza. Oh my God. This is it. Yeah. Okay, so let's move on. Since we're speaking on Gaza, great segue, right? Really great segue. There is actually an Israeli professor from Harvard who, based on data analysis and some very specific maps, he actually did a study, and he came up with the number of 377,000 people killed in Gaza, half of them being children.
Israeli Jewish professor, may I add.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, so we always knew that the numbers that they provide were definitely low. And now they had this source, this actually Israeli men and Jewish men, saying that the numbers are almost 500,000. Without counting people under the rubble, probably.
I wouldn't be surprised, No, I don't know. Like, is it without, like, he's talking about the people that are not, that doesn't include the people under the rubble. Is that what you're saying, Maria?
Yeah,
no, it's including everybody. It's including
I thought it's everybody.
People under the rubble? I don't think the people under the rubble are included.
It's including them. There's obviously a lot of people who are not found, right? But because of specific, and the problem is they destroyed obviously all the public buildings very, very early on. So the registration papers, everything is basically gone, right? But based on his data analysis and everything, they came up with this number. Now, I don't have the specific calculation and however they done it, but from what I know is they are including everybody. And mind you, it's a very difficult thing to do, because there is also people, and I will say this again, and this is for me one of the worst parts, and I really don't want to get emotional actually. A lot of people are missing, especially children. And there's reasons why these children are missing. They've been abducted and they've been sold. So honestly, I don't know how they calculate all of these numbers, especially when it comes to kids.
But I love that you say that they're kids, because we can cut our numbers, but I want to remind everybody that those numbers are children, parents, mothers, cousins. They're not just numbers. And for example, in TikTok, one of the advantages that we had with that app is that we had contact with people on the ground. So a lot of us know these people by name, last names, the cousin, the families. We get so connected thanks to the technology. Because as you know, this is the most documented genocide in history, which we are seeing it with our eyes. The people are actually filming their own death. And these people are in connection with us in the West. So we know who they are. We know who Rin was. We know who Hin was. We know how we know a lot of people by name and last name. So this is personal for us now.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, when we talk about the numbers, I just want to touch back on the numbers, and how it could be calculated, right? It's just me thinking, if you're talking about a building, a 5-story building, right? And usually those presidential buildings would have, let's say, 3 apartments, a floor per level, right? And every apartment has a family of 5. Okay. Now, when that building would be bombed and it would just fall, and of course, especially when those buildings were bombed at night, where the families are actually sleeping, we've seen so many of this, right? The rescue, when the rescue people would come and try to dig people out of trouble, right? So first of all, of course, they would look for any voice, any person who's actually calling for help, right? And the level that they can reach when they are digging, because of maybe the shortage on equipment, and even if the equipment are there or technology is there, or maybe the fuel isn't available, so they are mostly doing this, and we've seen that on social media, multiple videos that they would just use their hands and some simple tools, right? So the thing is, like, how would you count if a full family in an apartment just got crushed under the rubble with no one alive coming out of this family, right? Because again, the searching would start from, when you're looking for someone who's alive, right? And that someone who's alive, when they are out, they would give some information, if they are not in shock, of course, they would tell or give some information about who is left from their family, or like what are the family members, how many people are still there. So that would give indication to the rescue and the civil defense people to come and dig for more, right? But like, if a whole family was crushed, the whole family, like, no one made it, all right? So that family is still under the rubble. And apply this to how many apartments a building, a level, and how many levels per building, right? And we just gave a number of 5 or 4 floors, but like, sometimes the building should be 10-story building. We know there are so many of them there. So you can imagine how the numbers are multiplying, right? So unless this whole rubble is removed and taken away, and let alone the type of weapons and the type of explosives that they are using, that where the bodies somehow would melt. They're experimenting on people there. Yeah. And we know all of this. We've seen all of this. Yeah?
Yeah.
So 377,000, well, that's a very good approximate number, worked out somehow, maybe pretty much the same method that I used, followed, but in more details, right? But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see even more from the footage that we see, from the explosives and the massive amount of destruction that is happening. I would be surprised to see more, and I hate to say it this way, but it is the reality. I'm sorry. I don't know what to say.
And we know that a lot of family has been erased for the registry. I don't know exactly how many, but several pharmacies has been completely annihilated. There is nobody left from that last name. And we know that we have seen in target hospitals.
Yes. And our last point for today is something very controversial. We got to talk about Glastonbury. So I think, so Glastonbury, for those who don't know, is a very known annually festival that happens in the UK every year for a whole weekend. It's been going on for years. I think everybody performed there, from Jay-Z to Rihanna to I don't know who else, everybody and their mother. And they also have like unknown people. And this time the BBC, when they decided to do the broadcast, they decided to, just do some damage control and not broadcast Kneecap, that Irish group that is charged with terrorism because they said free Palestine and all of that. So they decided they're not gonna they're gonna cancel their broadcast time. But then somebody else came, whoever that person is, called BobVillian, and did them really dirty. That plan didn't work out. It got actually worse. He had the whole crowd, and mind you, this is thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people, like screaming death to the IDF. Now, everybody else opted for the simple and very boring narrative. This is anti-Semitic. There's only Jews in the IDF, which is, by the way, not true. There's mainly Jews in the IDF, but we also have, thank you. Why, Ray? Who else is in the IDF?
There are the Druze as well. Druze, which is not Jews. Druze, D-R-O-Z-E, right?
So Druze and Jews.
Druze, yes. And look, let alone all of this, how many atheists are there, right?
Yep. Americans, they have zero business there out there. They don't believe in anything.
Yeah, but that's not the Americans are not necessarily in the IDF. They are like more support.
There are Americans that get the how you call it?
Dual citizenship. They are Jewish, Maria. Though. Like,
I don't think but okay, could be wrong, but.
Brady, you happen to know?
Not quite, but like again, what I'm saying, what I would really say is, anyway, the whole so-called Israel, talking about, Jewish state and land that is promised by God, but like all of their officials and I'm sure that in their so-called IDF, like they're atheists and they know nothing about their book or their God, but still, it's still promised by God. I don't know how this God is, happy with them if they don't believe in him.
I think there is a small percentage out of the world they also find the IDF, right?
Yes, yeah. And Druze, like,
Yeah, the Druze themselves, and the Druze themselves are Arabs, right?
Well, yeah, and some Bedouins might be also in the IDF and stuff like that. So, everybody is upset about this whole thing of like, they wishing death to Jews. First of all, disclaimer, we here, all three of us, wish death on nobody.
Yeah, so, look, I wouldn't wish death to anybody, right? And I have a very good reason, because one day or another, we're gonna die. Well, let's be realistic. So why do I have to wish death for something that is already gonna, naturally out of aging or out of a car accident or out of illness it's gonna happen. So why do I have to wish that? It's gonna happen, right?
I'm gonna sit in that one.
No, you can say whatever you want. Like, this is at the end of the day, like, everybody is here to represent themselves. I just want to say, when I don't know these guys' intention, not attention, I took it as more death to the institution, death to their morals, death to their whatever they represent and whatever they're doing. I never even thought that he meant a particular person or persons, for that matter. So it's
because they say death to the IDF, then they say the soldiers of the IDF.
I think it all started in a way that, it rhymes very well,
That's
It
right.
does.
Very, very, very
It's
catchy. Very
actually
catchy.
right. It really does. It really does. And of
you
course,
know.
they're gonna scream anti-Semitism and you want to kill us and all of that.
Yeah.
Well, that's the standard thing, like, anti-Semitism stuff.
I have
And
another
again,
problem with this though. Go ahead, Ray.
what is
Sorry.
it?
No, go ahead.
No, again, the sentence or the statement itself, honestly speaking, all I can tell is, like I said, like, yeah, it sounds good, it rhymes very well, and hey, I am pro-Palestinian, and I am against the crimes that and the atrocities and the genocide that is happening. Then, all right, here we go. We've got ourselves a nice chant and a nice song, you know. But of course, it was taking way beyond, what it meant to be.
Okay, two things.
So sorry, go ahead.
No, don't be sorry. Two things. First of all, for those people who still don't understand that inshallah is something that not only Muslim people say, but also Christian people, because it just means God willing. But that's I don't know how many times we have to explain that. Because the guy said inshallah. Okay? He said inshallah Palestine will be and should be free from the river to the sea. Okay? They did say that. What I am not sure about, I don't know who this BobVillian is. I don't know what music they're doing. Same goes for Kneecap, and I don't want to take anything away from anyone, advocating for this course or whatever. I find it extremely, annoying by now that it seems like sometimes, also unfortunately in this case, that people understand this one thing. If you, well, and we know that as an artist, or if you, whoever you are, and you're a public figure and you want some attention, if you say something controversial, you will get that attention. And this is what happens. Standing with Palestine these days is controversial. So if you want some attention, you're going to use this course now to get attention. So how genuine are you really? And with that, I'm not saying that people shouldn't speak up or shouldn't advocate, but it's very easy to conflate these days and to mix up.
Yeah, I mean, you also get attention, but you also get canceled and banned and uninvited to a lot by big businesses and gathering. You get attention of the people, but when the money is,
that is what the money is, if they support you, because now we're moving towards independence. When you look at artists like Eddie Mack, I mean, he's Arab, he has a Arab community behind him and stuff like that. When you look at Macklemore he had a #1 hit and international, and he is somebody who is vehemently against what's happening, and he's speaking up. And even with him, I was in the beginning like, I wonder.
Well, look, I've got a couple of points here, right?
Yeah.
Now, the first one is when you mentioned that he said inshallah, okay? Because this is funny, okay? Because again, like you said, when he said something like inshallah, some ignorance would say, oh, okay, look at those terrorist statements. But anyway, inshallah means God willing. All right. And if he said inshallah, whoever that is supporting that occupation state, he shouldn't really worry, because it says God willing, right? So you shouldn't feel upset, because what they are saying is that this land was given or promised to them by God. So when he says God willing, right? So your reaction, whoever that felt offended when he said that, the reaction of that person, the offended person, would be like, well, yeah, nothing's going to happen. I don't have to worry that this person said that, because God already promised these people the land, which is crap anyway, bullshit anyway, right? But I'm just you see the logic, like, why are you offended, right? Okay, God promised you the land, so let the guy say whatever he wants to say to start with, right? The other thing is about this fame thing, and like riding the wave. Again, we don't really know the guy. I don't really know his intention. I've heard about him like, sorry, Bob, but I heard about you for the first time today, right? You know, if he's watching, of course. But the thing is, you know, the thing for me is, you know, like there are two ways of getting the fame, or let's say, you know, you get it the way that, you know, where you get all the big institutions supporting you, right? And in this case, you know, you would go with all those, you know, the mindsets of the, you know, the imperialism and everything, you know. So you get the support. Means, you know, you get the publicity, you get the support, right? And you get, of course, you know, the media and everything. Everyone will be talking about you, and you're famous, right? But there's also, it's been happening with the new generation recently, especially with the social media, which is the rebellious mentality. Okay. Now, for example, Bob, what he did today, right, or that during that event, and anyone else, okay, how would he visualize himself? That's again, if he was not, you know, 100% truly a supporter for the Palestinian cause, right? So how he would look at himself? How would he see himself? Right? He's the 2025 edition of Che Guevara. You know what I mean? So he's like the rebellious, and that's why the rebellious generation would actually support him. That's maybe what he would be looking after, right? Yeah. He would be looking after that, you know, people would, you know, have his name or maybe his face, his picture on their T-shirts, right? So this is the fame that he's getting. Okay, so I'm just commenting here on what you said, Ness. Yeah. Like, you know, we don't really know whether Bob or any other artist, we don't really know what they're after and what is their aim. Yeah. What they're doing, right? But at the end of the day, there is also this fame thing. But which way of fame that you are taking? The way that is, you know, the corporate fame, that is the corporates that are anyway controlled by the Zionism, or is it, you know, the other way, which is again the Ernesto Che Guevara one, which is, you know, is the rebellious. He's the freedom fighter that, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I mean, you know what I mean.
He had the whole crowd singing. So
and on TikTok, it's viral everywhere. TikTok is like to the roof. It's one of the most trending sounds.
There you go. So yeah, and you know, a lot of people say it's very hurtful for the cause because of what he says. Like again, wishing death on people, but again, you make up your own mind if it's the institution that he was talking about or any people.
But can we repeat the part where BBC banned Kneecap for say pre-Palestine and this guy with his
with his extremism?
That was epic. I loved it.
That's the best part of all of this. Yes,
but I love it.
Definitely, and I don't know. We should go. I don't know. It's just like,
it was so hilarious to me. I was like,
it's just you just want to cancel people for saying death to an institution, but you have what do you call it, officials like politicians that should be our leaders and that should be caring of, like, you know, order and everything going, and, you know, like human rights and all of that, but you have like turn Gaza into a parking lot and kill them all, let them starve, all of this kind of stuff, right? That's okay, but some artists coming and saying these kind of things, it's just like the hypocrisy of this society is just something else.
I love that you say that. You read my mind. Yeah, I love that, because yes, and I'm gonna put actually in our folder the tweet or our officials, our senators, our government saying flooded, it wasn't enough. And all
or
these
Jordan Peterson saying give them hell.
Give them help. So yes, great point. Excellent point.
Oh, this is the first time I can say I'm very proud of all the Muslims for canceling Jordan Peterson and not following this weird. I don't know what you guys saw in this man. I always thought he was weird, but okay. Yeah. So that's
Yeah,
it.
to me, I don't really get so passionate about any of those figures, even when they are like, if someone is standing with my cause, like, good on you, thank you very much, you're on the right side of the history, right? But
Yeah.
that's all. It is not like, I'm feeling privileged. I'm feeling like, oh, okay, that's my new idol. No,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Now I have to kiss your feet.
Not really.
Or Ray feet.
Oh, that person's feet, whoever they are, that's what they expect. All these weird people.
Oh, yeah, okay, well.
Oh my God, you guys are
Thanks for
weird.
clarifying that. Thanks for clarifying
Oh
that.
my God, you're weird. You guys are weirdos.
Me, you're the one talking
I
about
didn't say
kissing
anything.
feet.
I was finishing
I
his
said nothing. I was just listening.
I was finishing
I
his
was just listening. I said
sentence.
nothing.
Oh my God, okay.
Oh my God. Yeah.
It's
Okay.
so weird. I can't. Okay, with that said, I think we should go. Okay, that's all.
Before we start saying more weird stuff, go ahead, Liz.
No, before you guys assume more weird stuff. I didn't say anything
You
weird.
guys, why are you including me in this?
I finished your sentence. I didn't say anything out of place, okay?
And I was like, yeah, but you can look at little Miss here, Maria. She's the one who.
Oh, what? I didn't see anything. I'm tired.
It's so funny
Yeah,
how
okay.
all of a sudden everybody says, I didn't say anything. We all do the same
well,
thing.
we've got
Minding my business.
We've got the
Playing with my
recording,
What happened? You wanted to show Sebastian, but I don't know what happened.
Oh, next episode so he got offended because he was here saying me like why Luna was in the episode and I wasn't. Say okay, let's wait. And then he was playing with my cable and I said like don't play with my cable. So he felt offended and left the room.
Oh, okay.
The next episode.
Next episode, Sebastian.
Asked him nicely. Should have asked him nicely. Yeah.
All right, guys.
Oh, it's my fault again. Okay, guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much.